So we got food industry, real estate, YouTuber, makeup artist. Okay. Now they say on average, it takes about roughly 10 years to become a millionaire. If it takes 10 years to become a millionaire, they also say statistically, if you get someone to kind of show you the in and out, like a mentor or coach, someone who can take you through all the trial and error, it'll take half the time, which is 5 years. Okay. If that's the case, let's just go with the 5-year one. Okay. Now, everything's energy. How do we know that? Because everything's made of atoms. Everything contains space. See, atoms all have like these little tiny molecules filled with energy. The TV, the chair, the desk, this, even ourselves, we're made of atoms. Now, we are the most powerful atom as there is that's out there, even more powerful than the sun. So if we're that powerful of an atom, that means we contain what? Energy. So if we contain energy, we can only give out so much energy. We only have so much within us. I think sometimes we feel like we're like superheroes and we're just limitless with our energy and we can just go forever and we can do all these crazy and great things and not have to worry about anything. But let's just do this though. Everything's energy. So I got to put energy into each industry, correct? I have to put industry in all of these or they won't work. But if I'm doing them all at one time, that means I'm putting about 25% here. I'm putting about 25% there. Putting about 25% there. And I'm putting about 25% there. So I'm putting about 25, 25, 25, and 25. Because that makes 100%. Now let's say it takes, again, 5 years. With a mentor, 5 to 6 with a mentor, someone that can show you the ins and outs without the trial and error. But let's say you're doing them all at the same time. 5, 10, 15, 20. So that means now, as a whole, it's going to take you 20 years to actually effectively create a business in each one that's actually making the money that you want to make. Because we're doing them all at the same time. And if we're doing them all at the same time, same thing. Let's say you have 2 businesses instead of 4. That's 50-50. Same thing. You're putting in half here. You're putting in half there. Because here's why. Monday, I'm meeting with someone on food. Tuesday, I'm meeting with someone on real estate. Wednesday, I'm meeting with someone about YouTubing. And Thursday, I'm meeting with someone about makeup. So therefore, Friday, I got to meet with someone on food. Saturday, I meet with someone on real estate. If I decide to take no days off. But then now you're killing yourself because now you have no days off for time. And now you have no time for family or fun. So therefore, you're just draining all your sanity and your overall fulfillment of life. So you're going to have to give up something. But who wants to give up your life? It's not worth it. I see so many rich people who are so unfulfilled, miserable, depressed to where they even take their life. Because they never get the distinction in how to manage life and not just a business. And when they only manage just a business, but they don't know how to manage their life, they become so attached to the business to where the business begins to run them. The business runs their life, it runs their sanity, it runs their family. Their business now has employed them. They're no longer the employer of their business, they're now the employee because now their narrative and their actions have taken over and they have fallen into this trap. So if I'm in the food industry, I do real estate, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a makeup artist, I'm putting 25% energy there, 25% energy there, 25% energy there, 25% energy there. It's going to take 20 years before I actually effectively make $1 million or make the money that I want to make in any of the industries. But let's just speak hypothetically, say this. I cancel these out and I focus on only the food industry. And I put 100% into it. Knock it down to 5 years. So therefore, in 5 years, you will effectively create the results you want. Rather than 20 years. But what if you could just, again, master one thing? Bruce Lee, he says he only has about 2 to 3 moves that he uses. But yet, he always wins. His opponent, and this is something he said his opponent would have all these different moves. They'd have all these different moves. They'd just do all this different stuff. But he would always beat him with 2 to 3 moves. Because he said he'd rather master 2 to 3 moves versus than just know a bunch of moves. Because if you just know a bunch of moves, you're not a master in any of them. And because you're not a master in any of them, when you come across someone who is, you'll lose. So when we're talking about our business, if we don't master one thing first, and again, this happens to me all the time. People try to suck me in this and suck me in that and suck me in this and suck me in that. But I have to be very clear about what my vision is for my life and what I'm really up to. I have to be so clear to where I'm even able to tell someone no. That's hard. I am guilty of it, or I was very guilty of it. Even to this day, I'm still conscious of having to remind myself and say, okay, does this serve me and what it is I'm doing? Does this align with what it is I'm doing? How much energy will this take? What do I need to do? So what I tell a lot of people is, I tell people, like, I'll love to help you from an advisory standpoint. Because I know that won't take a lot of energy, and it's just if you come ask me stuff and I'll just tell you what to do. Or, give you the ins and outs so you don't have to go through the trial and error part of it. So, but if it correlates with what I'm doing and doesn't require a lot of energy, then yeah, I'll do it. Or if I can find a way to make it to where I don't have to do it. Now, again, I have other people who can do stuff for me, so I don't have to do it all myself. But when we're starting off in the businesses that we're in, we have to get to the point where this business can run by itself. Now, once the first business runs by itself, and you're doing it 5-6 years and it can run by itself, then you go into the other business. But here's the trick. Now, this is what very wealthy people do. And I think this is where it kind of gets manipulated a little bit within seminars and TED Talks and YouTube channels when people talk about, dream big, you have to do more, you have to do. Or they even say this, I have 50 different businesses. Mark Cuban, he's like, I have 200 different businesses. So we see that and we say to ourselves, well, I want 6 streams of income. I want 10 streams. I want 20 streams. But here's the catch. They don't say this part, though. They don't ever say this, because this is what people don't want to hear. This will actually make someone turn off the video. Really? But this is the truth. Mark Cuban, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and a lot of successful people. When one thing took off, they made millions of dollars off that one thing. But when we're talking about one thing, again, once the first thing blows up, you make all the money. Then you can go ahead and invest in all that all at once. Because now you can just pay a manager to manage the real estate business. Now you can just hire an executive to run your YouTube channel. Now you can pay a camera person, pay someone to upload your content, so you don't have to do a lot of the energy part of it. Now you can just pay someone to run your makeup business. But we first have to master the first business. Once the first business is mastered, once we get all the money that we need, or the right connections, or the right people, the right investments, then we can dump $1 million here, dump $1 million there, dump $1 million there. And then yes, within 2 years, they'll be like worth tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. That's how the rich do it. That's how they do it. They don't, let me do this business. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't like, let me do Facebook ads, let me do, Facebook Messenger, let me do, what else he's invested in? Instagram, right? He wasn't like, let me do Instagram and all that. He was like, let me focus on one thing. And that was connecting people at universities with each other. Allowing people and students at universities to connect with each other. Then it turned into the next university, then the next university, then it turned into corporations. Then later on, years later, then that's when he did Facebook ads, and then bought Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. Google with YouTube. Google was not like, let's do a YouTube channel. No. First, they blew up, then it was like, let's buy YouTube. And they don't put a lot of energy into it either, because now they can just pay people to run it. So the CEO of Google, YouTube, Facebook, they put in all the work in one thing. And when that one thing took off, then they were able to expand.